Good morning, Bob.
Hi, Darius.
You are Senior Director at Fortinet with a group of approximately 20 people in sales enablement, and wanted to have you in this call today so that you can share your experience with our audience. So thank you for accepting this and thank you for your time. Would you mind telling a little bit about Fortinet? I see there's a sponsoring vehicle behind you. What Fortinet, which is obviously known, I actually saw Fortinet on the Magic Quadrant yesterday, a new Magic Quadrant at the top upper right corner. But maybe a few words about what Fortinet does and the sales organization and your goals with this project.
Happy to share. So a bit of background, Fortinet is a market leader in cybersecurity. We operate globally. We're approximately 6,000 employees. Our field function, very round numbers, is about 3,000. As Darius mentioned, the readiness and enablement function, which I lead, is a total of about 20 people. Our focus is on the enterprise segment. So Fortinet serves three broad segments. SMB, enterprise, as well as a carrier service provider. So from an enablement perspective, we focus on the enterprise, and in very round numbers, that represents about 1,600 sales teams and leaders.
1,600 salespeople. So what were your goals with MEDDIC deployment?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's a little bit of background. So Fortinet is a very innovative, fast-moving culture and company. Given both the breadth of our portfolio, our patent portfolio, and generally how we operate it, it's all about speed. And that's part of the reason why I have the BMW Formula E behind me. We have a partnership with BMW, and this is really about what this initiative is all about. For all of you who are, I'm sure, more than familiar with MEDDIC, it's about having a methodology to be very focused on customers, so that you can then generate joint outcomes with that customer, ultimately in a condensed time format. So what we wanted to do is to take advantage of that, if you will, selling technology, and have a common set of languages, practices, and approaches that we were using to make sure that we were very focused on our customers, but also to help harness, quite frankly, the rapid growth and success we're seeing. Case in point, what Darius just mentioned in terms of us being positioned as a leader in the recent WAN Edge MQ from Gartner.
Sales performance, common language, scaling better and faster thanks to a more better performing sales team. That's fantastic. So you started with checking out MEDDIC Academy about a year ago, if I recall well, almost the same period last year, before sending your own. I mean, you checked it out yourself, and then you sent your own sales enablement team to us, and later customized actually the content and deployed it to your whole sales force. So what were the key steps of your program?
So the first part was in my role, I travel regularly. I was spending a lot of time with teams around the world. And so it's to understand how they operate, what's working, how we can establish a best practice. So the first part was really getting to know them. I referred to them as my customer, understanding them and what was involved. That led to a number of areas, teams, that quite frankly were using MEDDIC, had used it in their career, had been using it with Fortinet, and we could point to and see cases where that was driving unique outcomes and results, which inevitably led to the question, how can we light up this capability and scale it? That led to the MEDDIC Academy, and specifically the enablement team building up that muscle memory to make sure that we understood the context, what was involved, but also so that we could start to set some strategy of how we wanted to roll this out. And one of the things that was very important to us and was part of our strategy is making sure that we had Fortinet context baked in, that we were talking about our customers, their problems, and having that type of context. So it was very easy, again, for our customers, our sellers, to apply muscle memory. So at a very high level, it was a lot of work up front, making sure we clearly understood, the problem and the opportunity, setting strategy for how we were going to roll it out, that being Fortinet context, and lots more to share there.
Fantastic. So what were the challenges in this program?
Well, there were a number. One was, given the breadth and the size of the organization, the fact that also we continue to grow very rapidly. When we started looking at this, we were on a growth clip of, between 25 and 30% in terms of growth of Salesforce as well as corporate growth. So, rapidly changing environment. In addition to, we all know what has been going on in the global economy that we started to see transpiring in January. So one of the things that quite frankly was fortuitous is we purchased and implemented technology called MindTickle, and MindTickle became, quite frankly, a steroid injection for both our strategy and how we were rolling this out to our customers. So one of the challenges is, communication of what's going to happen and how you establish alignment and agreement that, quite frankly, an investment of selling time is going to lead to a multiple of benefit, to which, we took advantage of not only the MindTickle platform to help so that we could know that, hey, we've reached this many leaders and sales managers and they're now aware of the why, in addition to, in-person conversation and socializing the initiative. The second part of it as well is making sure that it wasn't about us, telling people how to sell, so to speak. That's not our role, but instead making sure that we connected directly with our customers and found out their insights, their best practices, and use that as context to help build out how we were going to basically win hearts and minds and build muscle memory around the application of MEDDIC. And then the strategy that we used to roll it out, where we would start with understanding, each of the MEDDIC elements, but framing why these mattered, what the outcomes were, setting up if you will, a coaching guide so that first level managers could immediately help their teams build muscle memory. But in addition, make sure that we're asking for feedback and guidance as we go. So we, in a very rapid, agile manner, we could be pivoting, updating, and sharing, which was a lot of the value from the MindTickle platform as well.
Got it. That's fantastic. And in terms of timing, how long did it take?
So we did this as kind of a series of rolling thunder waves. The first one was released in May, and it was outstanding to watch what had happened. Because again, a reminder, very large field force distributed globally, and from the time that we launched the first wave of MEDDIC content, we hit an 87% completion rate in 2 weeks.
Okay.
But what's especially interesting is the volume of feedback that we received. So we use an NPS, or customer sat measure. Yep. On a scale of 5. Our average was 4.5, and the vast majority of people were that and above. In addition to the feedback that we received, which basically was just sharing excitement, interest, love the content, love the context, love the approach, statements of yes, I'm going to implement this right away, including what we did is, after our second wave, we did an impact assessment for both sellers and sales managers of, hey, what has this done for your business? Can you share some examples where this has created value? And are there things that we can be thinking about to help make this of more value? To the point that we were seeing many, many cases where, here's my opportunity ID from Salesforce. This was the situation with the customer. Here's how I applied MEDDIC, and here's the outcome, including a path to close. It was very, very interesting. Improved forecast accuracy, improved customer relevance, improved ability to understand customer motivators to sell, statements with regards to more traction and strategy around how champions are identified and leveraged through the process, a number of statements with regards to improved competitive win rate given our approach. So we've asked, at that level.
Amazing. So what is your advice to your peers at other companies if they want to implement MEDDIC or other sales methodologies, basically?
It's all about the mindset, meaning it's all about your customer and what the value is for them and how you can make it of value to them. If it's coming across as a lecture or that, thou shalt, if you will, it's not going to land, especially given the current environment where we're in and the demands on sellers' time. How can you make it relevant, exciting, interesting, energizing, but easy to adopt. And I realize, there's a broad aspect to that, but the more you can curate and mine the insight from your customers and have them be the source of expertise and motivation and pointing to, hey, if you do this, here's what worked for me, that just, lights a fire. And part of it is, the approach that we took, again, which came directly from our customers, is framing our strategy around 3 key buckets: mindset, skill set, and tool set, and how we were making, if you will, investments in tools, content, narrative, and actions for each of those 3 buckets as a strategy for then MEDDIC to be adopted.
Fantastic. And what's next then, Bob?
Well, a number of things that we're building on. So although I mentioned, the one phase of MEDDIC, what we've done is our initial, what we called our foundation. So what you need to know about the elements and how to apply them. We're now releasing more deeper dives that make it a little bit more, if you will, intense muscle building around each of the elements. So for example, metrics, what are they? What types of metrics will you see for certain types of customers and solutions? What are some key questions that you can use? How do you validate them? How do you build a business case? We've done some work around production of TCO analysis for some of our solutions so that metrics become a feed in and an output as a result. So that's but one example of how we are what I call weaponizing a MEDDIC, is building it deeper and deeper into sales plays and process, so that becomes far easier, more exciting, and adaptable for our customers. In other words, we don't want to tax their time and have them to figure all this out. How can we package all this up for them? Again, using their insight and their best practices, so it becomes very easy to adopt and implement.
Absolutely. Since you suspect what are those metrics at the customers, helping them and helping with predefined questions, which are very close to each of your customers, that your salespeople know ahead of time. That's fantastic. I really appreciate you taking the time to sharing all this with us.
Appreciate support of you and your team, Darius. It's been great for everybody.
Thank you very much, Bob.
Thank you.